In a world full of haters, insane content creators, and the ever soul-crushing hamster wheel of growing up, we are three best friends trying to do the impossible, create a podcast that helps you survive life. I'm Devon.
I'm Lindsey.
And I'm Daniel.
And this is Neds Declassified Podcast Survival Guide. Results may vary.
Oh, welcome back to Ned's Declassified Podcast Survival Guide. Hi, Lindsey.
Oh, hello, Devon.
Are you okay? You sound stressed.
I'm reporting to you from my lair today. There's a lot of things happening for me, technically, like our co-host, Daniel.
Not being
but
here.
That's okay. I'm pushing through. I'm currently straddled between my friend's bedside table and the ring light, which I think I broke before we set it up, just laying on her bed on its side. One of the legs fell out, too.
Yeah, you look like you're holding on for dear life.
I am.
Well,
But that's nothing new.
Thanks for being here.
But
hey,
who can't be here?
Daniel Curtis Lee. Listeners, friends, our boy Daniel Curtis Lee, okay? Mr. Cookie Technology himself. The ways that Neds parallels our actual lives is actually, I can't tell if it's magical or disturbing.
Magic is disturbing.
That's what the church says. The ways that Ned's parallels our real life is absolutely insane. So our boy Cookie, listeners, is not here with us because his technology has failed him.
It has.
Yeah, we recorded an entire episode already. We caught up with Daniel about his trip to Mexico where he saw Drake Bell perform in Puebla. We had this whole chat about that trip that was really fun and great to hear. We heard about Lindsey's date. We put out the call on the podcast for a Lindsey date, and the call was answered.
The call was answered. We are accepting other callers, but the call was answered.
The call was answered and is
time.
still being
And
answered. The
there you go.
hotline is now open.
There you go.
1-800 Ask Me Out Lindsey Shaw. Wait,
There you go.
not Ask Me Out Lindsey Shaw, because that sounds like you're ask. 1-800 Ask
Wanna
Lindsey Shaw
ask-
out.
Right. There you go. I'm like one of those bugs. I swear, some kind of tarantula or like a praying mantis has to be like. It's like when I see one of the male kind, I want to glom on until I kill him. You know what I'm saying? Like those female aphids that kill their. But it like I said, I gotta spread it around. So, gotta kill many.
Aphids?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the praying mantis that like bites the head off the male right after they mate.
It's like I'm trying to bite the head off every male. It's like, yo, I don't want it. I don't want it. So now I need to find another male that I can behead.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to figure it out. But yeah, listeners, so sorry, this is going to be a kind of a weird episode. We don't have Daniel. We were able to save half of the podcast we recorded, and I don't know, it's super vulnerable for me, but I feel like it's worth sharing. Just going through some pretty raw grief right now, and Lindsey and I had a chat about that is pretty real time and raw, so we're gonna play that for you and just keep that part of the podcast, just because I feel like for anyone who's going through grief, it could be valuable and maybe help you feel less alone. I don't know. We'll play you that once Lindsey and I catch up here and give you a little bit more of the pod. We recorded that a couple days ago. Since then, our friend and studio teacher Scott Plimpton has passed, which I kind of figured he would have. Like, I literally said it in that part of the conversation. Like, when the podcast drops, I'm pretty sure he'll already be gone, and that has now been confirmed. So RIP to a really, really beautiful man who guided Lindsey, Daniel, and I, and not just us, a lot of young actors. He really, saw educating as like a purpose, as a calling. It wasn't a job to him. And it is, unfortunately, for some teachers in our lives, it's just a job to them, you know? And guiding and educating children is not just a job. That's a high responsibility. And our friend Scott Plimpton took that responsibility like with the highest value. And yeah, I'm just really grateful to have been guided by him and been his friend and known him. So yeah, R.I.P. to Scott Plimpton.
He passed on Mother's Day, you said.
Yeah.
And you said he had a special relationship with his mom and
Yeah.
with his
Yeah,
wife's
and his
mom.
mother-in-law. Yeah.
So I absolutely, I feel it. I feel like I see like the vision of, them coming in and being with him during that
Yeah.
time, or at least a lot of that really comforting energy around him. I hope that's how he felt. But
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to everyone has different ways of dealing with grief and definitely dealing with death and different beliefs on life and stuff. But like, yeah, I'm trying to just understand or imagine or surrender to the fact that like he's just kind of like everywhere now. And like for a little while, I definitely find it helps with grief. Like for a little while, I'm just gonna need to keep my conversation going with him, if that makes
yeah.
sense, you know?
Well, right now he is just consciousness, He's
Yeah.
not individuated into his own little packet.
Yeah.
He is everything that you become aware of, And
Yeah.
that is so. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm blocking something out when trying to deal with somebody passing or whatever. But I don't. I see it as kind of like a relief, and I've always. I don't know.
Mm,
It doesn't feel ominous to me, and I don't know that. I've lost many people who are really close to me, but I know those heavy feelings about death are coming. But just because I knew Scott as who he was, yeah, I kind of see it with a lot of light and
yeah.
yeah, just just so grateful that I even
Yeah.
got any part of him because he's somebody who imprinted on me forever and there are so few people you can say that about.
So no, like there truly are so few people in life who that imprint is just positive. Like,
There's nothing mixed in it. There's not like
nope,
one time where it was weird or this or that or other.
nope, nope.
Not
It's
one
just
glance that was like judgmental or this or that. He looked at you with the same gaze. And I really like am so enamored by people who can do that because judgment absolutely is a character defect that I try to work through frequently. And there was just none of that.
no, it
Just
was
what it is,
pure goodness and like support
patience.
of like your being,
Yeah.
patience. My goodness, the patience.
Yeah.
Yeah, like really a beautiful mark he left in this life. Like it's so
It's
special.
like he was so invested in our outcomes, whether he saw us once, twice, whatever. He just nourished us, yeah, towards the best
Mm,
possible outcome. And I have that in my heart now. And it's so nice to like, I don't know, think of him and be reminded, like I said, I wasn't as close as you were with him, but it makes me smile to think of him when I stop and think about it. And I hope pretty soon it's like that for you.
Yeah, I hope so too. It just was like really sudden, so I got to get through like the shock of it and that pain. But yeah, I mean, I I'm kind of just asking like how can I honor like his legacy and like what him and I shared? Like how can I take the responsibility that he took to be like just a good man? Yeah, those are the kind of the questions I'm asking now. And then, like I said,
But
like,
like, remember, we're all on these real different trajectories and paths, like maybe what he had to learn is not what you have to learn. So like, but yeah, incorporating those parts of his
yeah,
personality in
into
any way we
mine.
can. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's in within my path, but like how do I like honor what we spoke about and
Ah,
what our values were like um yeah, like he was always striving for to like hone his values and live them like really like that's like something I also think not a lot of us do. We're like too focused on the external or outcomes or other people's shit or this or that and not like now what am I like, what are my values and do I live them and do I need to adjust them? And am I being real about them, you know? Or do I say I'm about some things in life and like don't actually like do that, you know? So
How
I
long
don't
did
know.
those
We'll
men's
see.
group? How many like men's group sessions did you have with him?
We just had like a book club for a couple months in 2024.
That's so cool.
We had read three or four books. And then, as it happens with book clubs, we took a break for like the holiday or something as people were going out of town and just like kind of never, never got it back. Yeah. I think I got busy on the podcast. I don't know. It's just stuff got in the way, man. And,
It's just so cool. I'm just envisioning you all like just like having this discourse. It's
oh, it was
good for
amazing.
sure.
We were talking about the Stoic reading. I don't know if you've ever read the Stoics, but man, there's so much wisdom there. It's incredible.
I'm pretty
Seneca
sure
and
that's all just
Marcus
smoke.
Aurelius.
No, I've never popped open some Marcus
Ah,
Aurelius,
come
brother. Is the
on. Come
prose hard
on.
to read or is it
No. No, that's the amazing shit. I mean, they've translated it, right? It's like they weren't writing in English,
right?
but no, that's the amazing shit with the Stoics is like, first of all, Marcus Aurelius's Meditations is that's what that book is called. It's
Right.
like his diary, right? And he's a couple thousand-year-old emperor, okay? Um, it's crazy how relatable what he's writing about is. Like, that's what blows my mind is like, to me, the Stoic philosophy, a lot of it is like kind of common sense philosophy, just looking at how to not fight against the inherent kind of struggles of life, how to accept and empower yourself within them, kind of with this like really grounded common sense. So no, the prose isn't hard to read at all. It's like unbelievably relatable. It's crazy. You know, one of Marcus Aurelius's was like, I'm going to paraphrase, but it's basically like, you know, when I, and you're going to laugh at this, but when I wake up in the morning, like, I just want to stay under the covers, under the warm covers and not get to my life, but I have to. Like, I can't stay under the covers in this comfortable warmth. I have to go face the day. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to
Doesn't
stay
sound
in
like
and,
something I'd enjoy.
but I want to stay in and scroll on my phone, Marcus. Um, yeah,
You
no,
know,
that was a really great session reading this.
that's what really strikes me about older media. Even, like films, I read, a lot of books by older authors done in like the
Yeah,
1800s, whatever. How relatable what they're talking about is. Like everybody, their wants and needs and desires all boil down to something, whatever the circumstances, those things are innate in the human experience. And it
dude.
is so fascinating that people are worried about the things that we're worried about today all the same love and pride and credit and this and that and other, and it's
Yeah,
just what is life? Do I throw it all away? Do I burn it all down? Do I commit
yeah,
to it? Like
yeah.
it's really like kind of a relief. It's like kind of nice, feels very connective.
I feel that it's comforting to know, like the struggle you're feeling, like with life, with piecing it together, with making sense of your life, and as alone and isolated as you can feel in it, it's recorded. Like humans through for thousands of years have struggled against the same concepts. Like that is comforting. You go like, oh, I'm not alone in this struggle. This is the struggle of making sense of life. Like, okay, okay, I'm not broken. I'm not wrong. This is what it is.
Everybody is thinking about this.
Right.
Everybody is just trying to put forward what they think is the right thing to do in life.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, fucking trying. Yeah, one of my favorite books is Letters to a Young Poet by
oh,
Rilke.
yeah.
And like that's just like these 10 letters that he had like a pen palship with a young poet and he's just kind of like offering kind of life advice, just talking to him, reflecting back to him. Um and it's from the turn of the century 1900 and the shit he's talking about is so unbelievably relevant to my life today, to any of our lives today, especially if you're an artist. I'm just like blown away at how that's true, that with how much has changed in life and technology, yeah, we're still just trying to figure out like who to love, how to
Yeah.
create, what is depression.
We keep just adding external circumstances instead of like tapping into the rich jelly inside all of us, right? Like the rich stuff, like the stuff that's going to spread and like make its way,
Yeah.
eternally is like this stuff inside. Like humans are still trying to figure out humans. So it's so much that we have, put so much of that energy into these external things that really just complicate and make
Yeah.
more dense our circumstances.
Yeah.
And the consequences are bigger and like, and we're losing any access to that. I'm sorry, jelly is my favorite word right now. We're losing any access to that good, sweet jelly inside, And it's like, we have to reach into that life-saving pot of jelly, right? And I'm learning to do that. It is fucking messy. It is
Jelly
sometimes
is messy.
boring because you have to run up against these questions that you don't have answers to. It's so much easier to do something when you're like 1, 2, 3, but
Yeah.
your feelings don't have a mathematical. There's nothing. You don't know if I feel worse. Am I better? Like
Right. Right.
and how much of that is feeling worse, and
Yeah.
I feel it so much, but we got to get in touch with the jelly. We got to leave the robots alone a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
The jelly.
just
I love-
rediscover humanity. We never have discovered humanity. The way we still carry on, we can't have. We can't understand why we're here if what is going on outside of ourselves,
It's still
war
going
and
on.
conflict and hurting
Yeah.
people and just
Yep.
we don't know yet. And
Yep.
so I don't think the answer is moving more into AI. I think it's a fascinating tool, but I think our energy
Yeah.
needs to go the other way.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like we've moved so far, like just in the era that we live in of rapidly moving technology and just everything kind of moving quickly and abstracted and external. Like I've been feeling it with this Scotch situation is like, man, like I got a text about it and I talked to him on the phone and now I'm just like never gonna see him again because we live these separate lives that are connected through technology, but they're disembodied. And on top of that, like part of me just wants to do nothing right now and just like mourn. But there's too much to do already in my life. There's too many things that are already on the schedule, right? Like our lives move very, very, very quickly. And that is hard for my biology to keep up with. Like we weren't meant to move this fast and this disconnected from the people we love. My sister lives in Australia. Like everything feels like it's getting stretched out further space and moving too quick. I like long for a time that I don't even know, which is like, the trope of like humans in a village in a forest, which I'm sure came with its own struggles, like lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my.
Oh my.
But like a simpler, closer connected life that could move slower, like that I could kind of move through someone I love's death while also like being connected to nature and kind of the pace of nature, right? So,
Right.
then you can lean into it. Then you can embrace like these are part of the natural cycles, but like, man, we move so quickly. Like I can't imagine the people who, lose someone, they get one day off at the office and then need to be back to their corporate job answering these abstract problems and emails after you're dealing with something that's real and shakes like the core of your being, man. I long for something that doesn't exist like that, but also I can't do like I'm not moving to a village, so I just gotta keep moving forward with my life, I guess.
I mean, don't stop. Yeah. Keep
Yeah.
keep it up. Yeah. No, I do shut down pretty frequently, but I'm learning to get up out of the bed. It's rough. It's difficult. And I don't even really have anything to deal with. I think it's just this big well of grief that I didn't have eyes on for so long that slowly ekes its way back into my consciousness. It's like this slow drip of bullshit. And sometimes I feel just better about how I'm managing it than others. But yeah, it's hard to, I don't know how people compartmentalize like that. Like I really wish I could compartmentalize better, but everything just kind of feels spilled over. And God bless people who can be productive and have to be, like they don't have a choice but to be. And that is so much. I'm so grateful that I have the space to unfold a little bit. And it's still the hardest thing I've ever done, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And we are missing our compartmentalizing champion, Daniel Curtis Lee.
Dan, so lend me a couple containers, brother.
He can weigh in next week on the storage facility that is his compartments.
Please. You know, we need a lecture from Dan on compartmentalization. That'll be nice.
Hey, where there is death, there is also life. They come together. And you just had a birthday, Miss Lindsey. All of our fans watching on YouTube and on Instagram, make sure you wish Lindsey Shaw a happy birthday.
I got so many lovely messages. I just want to say thank you to everybody who sent love. I told Daniel this because Daniel came to my birthday. Devon said he didn't want to be there. So I was like, oh, okay. No, but while I was there, I go, because my birthday was a weekend, right? Like like it was on a Saturday, but whatever, I celebrated all weekend. I woke up on Friday morning. I told him in this like envelope of happiness and gratitude. And it sort of just swept me and I got on the right current with it all weekend. First thing I did was like call my mom. That's never an easy thing for me. Like there's just weight behind it, and that's okay. It's like that a lot with a lot of people, but I felt open and available, and I took in all this good stuff. I had such a good time. I was actually intentional about plans that I wanted to make, and not worried about how that came off on everybody else. Like I'm always so worried about other things. I just feel very joyful. I'm glad I made it this far.
Yeah, dude.
I keep thinking one of these years, I was like, you have to just be where you need to be, right? But ticking by. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, by 40, I'm going to have a regular workout like regime, you know? But that starts now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's also kind of weird. But it hasn't been heavy and melancholy for me like it usually is around my birthday. Yeah. It really was just like, I'm still here and I'm getting some motivation back to live, and yeah, so,
dude, life is some longer cycles. I'm like really glad to hear it and see you doing so well. I was sad to miss your birthday. You know, I was out for a good reason. But I was sad to miss it. I was so happy for you. Like, it's awesome. Like like you've been unfolding so well the last few years. You've committed to your own progress. And like, even if that's taking it slow, you've committed to health and like yourself and making good choices. And dude, it's awesome to fucking see.
I so appreciate that. You've been such a big part of making it such a warm, 3 years.
Yeah.
We started working together like right after that year.
I mean, shit, I told you, dude, like there was times where we would check in and I would leave seeing you like back in the drug days, and I would leave seeing you and I would be like, man, it's like 50-50 when that I get a call in the next year that like Lindsey's not here anymore. Like you're just you're on a warpath. You're flirting with disaster.
Yeah.
And that was so consistent for so long that these 3 years, like ups and downs, but up is the trend. Like up's the trend.
What's hard is like cracking open your values when you feel like you either A, haven't been connected to them for such a long time, or B, never really knew what they were, right? So that's really interesting that you say that. You're somebody who I think has such a clear value system, and it's so nice to see on you. Sometimes it takes me a minute with your like when you're explaining things to me to see the benefit of either the pace we're going or the thoroughness with which we're covering things, right? And I value it, but then I finally, like, I'm starting to see, like, exactly who you are, and it's like, you're always going to put those values first, and you're always going to advocate for yourself. I love that about you. And that's something that I'm learning to do. Like, you've shut down a few opportunities I've brought forward because I'm just down sort of in the mud with everything, right? And it's kind of always been that. It's like, throw whatever, and whatever sticks, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Or it's so scarce that there's not going to be another one if you don't do this one. Or like, so there's no value system sort of informing any of my decisions. And especially when that happens with money, money understands that you're doing this in a scarcity mindset, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, the energy of money, I think, responds a lot when you have a clear value system, or you know what I mean? It can be more accessible to you. And so, yeah, I've learned a lot from you like that. I think Daniel and I are both on a sliding value scale.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm just trying to get better at not being a douche about my values, you know?
Hey, you've done really nice.
Thanks. I'm working on it.
Yeah. And not even seeing...
I'm not above change. Yeah.
No, I haven't even been seeing you, like, just a couple of instances. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, totally, like, I don't know. It's just been nice. I've been seeing, like...
Yeah, I'm working on it. I don't want to be a douche.
Well, because that's also how you're talking to yourself. Like, you're also being that harsh on yourself.
Absolutely.
So it's like, don't be a douche to yourself either.
Absolutely. Oh, no, that's been the work since the beginning of the year is like, man, I have got to figure out my self-talk. Like, I got to figure out this self-pressure. I got to start. It's why, like, half the tips have been this year on the pod, like self-forgiveness, self-compassion, man. Like, you gotta start choosing it because no one's going to do it for you. And it's too easy to slide into what you won't even realize it. You're just like, oh, I'm talking shit about myself. Like, I'm putting pressure on myself. I'm stressing myself out. And at the very least, I got to start there. And work with that. So yeah, it's been a journey. Honestly, I've felt some good settling in this year.
Good.
God, growing up is not easy, guys. It's not easy.
It really is not.
Damn. Just when you think you're like making through, something will come and test that, you know, like losing Scott's a fucking lot. It's like throwing my everything off for me. And I have to figure out again to like honor him. That's why I say like even honor him. Like, no, I don't get to like use that as a reason to like throw my life apart. Like, nope. Stay the path, man. And
it's okay that you had that instinct or urge, man. Like, it's okay, you know? When we learn to just, like, stop chastising ourselves so hard, because, you got it, but you're hard enough on yourself. That'll always be your default. So my eternal advice to you is just, like, ease up. You are so gentle, and you deserve, you know, the right handling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look, dude, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Daniel. Daniel's birthday, friends and family, is on Saturday, May 17th. So in the chat, in the comments, make sure you wish Daniel and Lindsey happy birthdays. They've always fallen on within the same week, which is always really fun.
Right.
I love that. So yeah, we'll catch up with Daniel next week when he's back on the podcast.
I mean, we hope.
I mean, it's kind of insane. Like, my computer broke and his internet and computer broke. Like, we're falling apart.
You might all just be crowding around my mic and like my computer, because there's not multiple ports for mics, so just a one mic, three people podcast. All right.
It's going to be perfect.
How do we segue this into the rest of our episode? Like,
well, I can't remember. I don't think we gave tips at the end of the episode because I think we were so deep on that conversation about grief.
Right.
So let's give some tips. And then, guys, we're going to play for you. Sorry, it's so disjointed, but we're going to play for you the half of the conversation that we could salvage. If you're not up for a real-time heavy processing of grief, then maybe the next half of the episode is not fully for you. But if you want to like hear some realness, some real, you know, friends going through something like in real time, I think there's some value there. And we were talking to a fan who had asked something about grief as well. So we'll transition into that, but let's give some tips, because I don't think we gave tips at the end of the episode. I can't remember.
Well, okay. Mine is just going to be what I told you and what I am really telling myself, which is be gentle with yourself. We are all such fragile ecosystems that we don't even know fully, right? And it's like the victim in you wants to be lashed. The victim in you wants to be beaten and have a reason to feel that way and double down and escape any real, actual, productive, uncomfortable feeling, because somehow that victim mentality is not totally uncomfortable. It's kind of like you're at home. They want, like, so don't give into that. Really just see yourself there. You gotta just look at the mess and not, victimize yourself again. And the best way to do that is just to be a little easy on yourself, So.
Yeah, I love that. My tip is, I talk about it in the next part of this episode, but I'm just having to look at my relationship to the people I love, where it meets like my relationship to taking care of myself and my ADHD and the ways that I can self-isolate sometimes in a way that I need to. I'm needing to look at that people that I love might interpret that as rejection, or that they feel I've weighed them as not good enough, or something like that. Like, that's a real response that makes sense. Like, if you reach out a few times to someone that you feel close to, enough times of them not responding, like, I get that's also a human response from them to feel rejected. And I'm needing to look at that, of like, how much do I need to assure the people in my love, the people that I love, what they mean to me. So all that to say, my tip is, I just lost someone that I really, really, really love and really made a huge impact in my life. And I know deep down, I know he knows it. And I know he loves me. I really do. I know, because of the quality of the time we've spent, that it was meaningful for both of us. However, I lost him, and we had distance in our relationship at the time. And so what I'm saying to you fans is, like, if there are people out there in your life who you love and who you know are important to you, but you're kind of not good at getting back to people and stuff like that, that's okay. But maybe just today, when you're listening to this, send that person a message and just tell them, hey, I isolate sometimes. And that might be the way that I am, but I just want you to know, and this is true forever, you have impacted my life. You're important to me. I love you, right? Let them know that, like, that's unchanging, even if you're not responding. It's not a big thing. You don't have to self-shame like we're talking about. You don't have to go change all your behavior, but whoever comes to mind when I say that, man, send them a message. Let them know, like, I love you, dude, and you have made my life better. Because you'll feel good that you say it if they are taken from you in an untimely manner. So yeah.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Yeah. I love you, Linz.
I love you so much.
Happy birthday.
Doug. Thank you, my heart. And I will see you tomorrow for our special little shoot.
Yeah, that's forthcoming,
finally
friends.
Making that video.
That's forthcoming, friends. Enjoy the rest of this episode. Thank you for being here, guys. Thanks for supporting the pod. It's been a little rocky, but we are really, like, grateful to still be doing this together and learning together and growing together. And thanks for being on this ride with us, guys. We really appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Anyway. Dev, what's been up with you?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have seen the Instagram post I put out. Yeah, I'm fucked up.
That was
man.
lovely.
I'm really, 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 really sad. For those of you listening or watching who don't know, it's really crazy because on last week's podcast with Sean Flynn, organically, he just brought up that 16 years ago on Zoe 101, Scott Plimpton made a huge impact on his life that carried forward and has lasted, even though they have not been in contact since. And we all got to have that moment talking about him. But yeah, for those of you who don't know on the pod, like Scott Plimpton was our studio teacher on Neds, and someone who I got to stay close with or develop kind of like a new relationship with as I got older. And yeah, we found out this week that he's dying from cancer, and it's like it's already over. Like it's over. I don't know. Like by the time this podcast comes out, he might already be gone. And yeah, man, I'm in a lot of pain, Linz, in a lot of pain. It's like really hard having to process that like Scott's not gonna be in this world. It's like it's really, really, really hard. He has been such a force of good in my life since Neds. And yeah, I'm just having to go through this like grief process that's like really, really, really hard. And I've been through it before, and it's crazy because I just got through kind of the final stage of Rust, which was like this other huge grief and trauma, and like it just came out, and that came with a lot of emotions, like watching how the film turned out and thinking of Helena and being proud of the movie, but also feeling such sorrow that things went the way they did. And so I was like kind of already going through the kind of like the end of that grief that started 4 years ago, and was feeling okay about like kind of accepting that and moving forward. And yeah, to get this news is just it's so hard, dude. It's so hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said, did you get to speak with him on the phone?
Yeah, I did. And I'm really glad I did. I'm really glad I got to tell him some things on the phone. Yeah, but I don't want to fully go into it, but it's also really hard because like we were just kind of out of contact the last couple months, and I do that with all my friends. Like it just happens certain times. Like I get hyper focused on the life in front of me, and like can only handle a certain amount of communication outside of kind of whatever the thing is that I'm focusing and stressing on. And yeah, so we've been kind of out of touch, and I'm like just finding out, and it's too late, and I didn't get to like be there for him through this, and that's gonna be a really hard one to kind of deal with. But I did get to speak to him, and I got to tell him, you know, who he is to me and what he meant to me, and yeah, I'm really glad. And I also trust that like the connection that we had and the talks we've had, and the times we've had, those are kind of forever. I know what they meant to him. Mm-hmm. So even if we were out of touch now, like I know what they meant to him, and I know what they meant to me. Yeah, we did that big walk in 2021. We did this like summer of walking for his 50th birthday. The maniac, he wanted to ruck 50 miles down the California coast. And so we started like training for that by doing these really long walks. And it was me, him, and Theo. And Daniel came on one. We have like the photo from that. He came on one like 12-mile one in Malibu. And we did this summer of walks, and we got up to like this 30-mile walk that was like so brutal and such a fucking good experience. Like it was incredible and so painful, and like we all kind of fell apart after it, and we never went past that. Like we never got to 50. Like Scott's feet imploded, and like all of us just were like, well, guess we'll pick it back up another time.
How do you even prepare? Like, what kind of shoes would you even wear for that? Like, how?
I ended up I wore different shoes for different walks and ended up wearing what are called like barefoot shoes, zero drop shoes. I was wearing my Zero shoes. Shout out to that company. They're some of my favorite shoes. They're
Starts with an
basically
X, right?
yeah,
Zero.
yeah, and they're basically barefoot. And they have what's called a wide toe box. Like there's a lot of shoes that like cramp your toes and don't let your feet naturally be. And their shoes don't, and they're almost barefoot. They let your foot just like be what it needs to be while still giving protection.
Does it
I
have
wore those.
Singular toe slots?
No, that I used to wear those like on hikes, but those are just so embarrassing. The toe shoes are so embarrassing. So Zero shoes luckily makes like a stylish, they got a bunch of different styles. But yeah, I ended up wearing those, but there's no shoe that can help you. Theo wore like hiking boots, which is fucking absurd.
What do you do
so
with all
heavy.
those blisters? Like, I was wearing a missized loafer, and my blister still hasn't healed. My foot business is flailing.
Yeah. No, we had to bring like Band-Aids and shit, and you just had to power through. At a certain point, around like 17, 18 miles, like every step just hurts, and it's just mental. You just have to tell yourself to keep walking. Like, it's not even the blisters that hurt. It's just the bottom of your feet. It's just the weight of your body at a certain point. Just every step is like, ow, 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 ow. And you just power through.
Is it better to take breaks or no breaks?
You don't want to you gotta take some, but you can't break too long or you won't fucking get up. You kind of just have to power through. It was so fun. It was such
Totally
suffering.
something about Scott. My
gosh. I know. It was so good. Like, we're all kind of freaks like that of like, how can I suffer in a worthy way? Like, how can I push myself into worthy suffering, like, for life? And yeah, I'm like really grateful that I'll always have that memory. But yeah, I just like can't imagine the world without him in it. What's so beautiful is like him and I got to stay close, but people have reached out who like knew him from Neds days or worked with him on other shows, and big or small, whatever amount of time people have spent with him, the vibration is the same. He was just good. He was just good-hearted and kind and positive. And like the impact was there. Like certain people have reached out who were like, dude, I did not know him well, but like not him. Like he was first of all, the best studio teacher on any set. Like truly, he did that at the highest level.
Yes.
Not only educate kids, but watch out for them on sets. He did
was a
that
mentoring
at the highest level.
I sent a video to his wife to show him, and it ended up being after I had thought about it for a long time. And I know this is like morbid and kind of selfish. I had to like, I just kept thinking about it all night. I'm like, there isn't time to like waste here or think about it or process. Like, yeah. So literally at 4:30 in the morning, I did it. And I think like the pressure of that consciousness sort of ruminating all night, it came out everything I wanted to say. And, just a celebration of him and an emotional whatever. And I felt just really nice about what I turned in and what he'll be able to see. But what I said in there was just how many lessons you taught me. And you did it so gently, right? You taught all these life lessons so gently. And that gentleness is, I mean, it was everything. That's like who he was. Yeah. He was so potent, but so gentle. Exactly. Like it was a force. He was forceful with guiding you and teaching you, but not forceful in that the impact was there. But like you said, so gently delivered. Like he was like an unwavering presence, right? Like when he was asking you to do something, or when you were, doing something with him, it was like, you kind of had to be all in, and he made sure of that. But and it was for good. It was for integrity. It was for principles. It was for values. Like it was for the highest good. He was such a respectful guy, man. Just respect. He treated everybody with this really gentle respect. And I literally will never forget it, from him making our chocolate protein shakes in the morning when he would blend the banana so well I couldn't even taste the banana. And I actually hate banana.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing time, from being kicked out of the schoolroom for pantsing you, the dog treats because I couldn't stop cursing.
Because none of us could stop cursing. Carly texted me that. She's like, I'll never forget him starting this dog treat if we cursed idea. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, I used to love that because he was such aware of, like, we're kids, even though we're adults, and even though we would curse like crazy, he could never accept, like, Scott Fellows walking by our classroom and just flicking us off. What's up, fuckers? Scott Plimpton could never, like, he was like, it was like, I remember, like, after a lot of that happening, like, he was like, I understand you guys are cool with that and that's your relationship. He was like, I still can't, he's like, I still can't accept that as teacher and welfare worker for you guys. So funny.
And then Scott came in just like a douche, like Scott Fellows came in like a douche and was like ate a handful of them. He's like,
just ate a handful of the dog treats.
Scott Fellows was also like a little menace.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, I'm going to miss him so much. I am so grateful we got to become friends. Because, like, on Neds, like we're talking about, like, he, like, guided us. He more than educated us. He fucking, like, supported us as young beings into being whatever the better version of ourselves was. Like, he was always forcefully correcting us towards being better. And that was beautiful, and that lasted, like, he tutored me even after Neds, right? So, but then we lost, like, touch a little while, and I am so grateful I got to become friends with him as I grew up. Like, when my parents got divorced, I went on this hike with him out in Simi Valley, and, like he knew... You know, he knew my family and he knew me. And to go on that hike with him at that time in my life and just feel this, like, solid male presence who's kind of, like, for more or less, like, always been there when my dad had kind of dropped off because of what he was going through. And just have that gentle, like, open communication that Scott has, like, just hearing me on everything. And he had said, like, he went through something similar with his dad and, like, kind of had these similar feelings. And, like, just connecting with him on that hike at that time was so fucking meaningful. And it really started, like, these check-ins that him and I would have in my adulthood. And I just, we know, like, that life you know, doesn't go how we want it to and whatever, but, like, I just really took for granted that he would be around longer. You know, I just really did not, he's young, I really did not expect him to be gone so soon, because, like, I valued our time together so much. Even when we would go chunks of time without connecting, like, when we would drop in, like, it was everything. I would really get to have that consistency and remember, like, yeah, okay, like, stay on a good path. Because him and I often would talk about just what it means to live our values, what it means to develop integrity, what it means to be a good man. And, like, God, I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss that so much. Yeah, I really can't believe it, Linz. Really can't believe it. Scott Plimpton, man.
What a beautiful contribution to, you know, your life. And I know you to his.
Yeah.
You know, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really sorry that you are feeling the pressure of lost months.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah, it just sucks. Like, I'm not gonna get him back. And it's just like, it's something I'm gonna have to kind of integrate, is, like, kind of on this, like, ADHD thing I've been figuring out, and kind of just how I operate. Sometimes I isolate. And what's fucked is because I'm on social media And because what I do on social media is me, it can look like that's 100% me, right? Like me being jovial and connecting on the podcast or on other people's podcasts is me, that I'm totally fine. Meanwhile, especially since like September, I might be working and be able to show up. This is work. I might be able to show up fine. And yes, it is me. But then I get off the podcast and I'm 90% full of dealing with my own mind and like struggling, right? So what sucks is that I feel like it can look like I'm fine even when like, no, I'm actually like contending with like a lot of whatever mental stress that I might put on myself, but I am still dealing with it.
Right.
And yeah, so I don't know, dude, I'm a fucking mess. This is a really tough one. It's a really tough
I'm going
one.
to be honest. It has been such a privilege getting to know you, but I really feel like I only, started to understand you even a little bit like in the fall. And sort of when we'd go through these, kind of stressful times on the pod. You got a lot going on in there, man.
Yeah.
You got a lot of dynamics, and you put so much on your own shoulders, which you're right. Sometimes it doesn't look like that. Like I definitely interpreted that as other things than it was, first getting back and speaking with you. But yeah, what do you think? How do you move forward with other relationships in your life with this knowledge? Like, obviously you got to let this like sink in a little bit and whatever, but like beyond the devastation, like how do you?
Yeah, I don't know yet because I've been learning to be gentler with myself in this process of like, if I need to isolate, like, okay, then isolate. Like, if that's what's going on, then that's what I need to do. And I just need the relationships in my life to know. What I'm realizing is just like, on the other side of that, people I love might interpret that as I've decided that they aren't good enough or aren't important to me. And that's not true. I know what's in my heart, but I need to know that information now, that like, okay, if I need to isolate, do it, but know that some people that maybe I'm not responding to text messages might interpret that as I don't love them or value them or something. And so I don't know. I'll have to see how that shakes out going forward. 'Cause I still need to take care of my process, and I won't get this time back with Scott, and I really don't want people who I love to not understand that like I would have dropped everything if Scott told me. If he had just, the last couple texts from him were so casual while this was going on. There's only a couple texts that I didn't respond to. They were so casual, of course, because he's Scott, he's so light. Everything was fine. It was casual. So I was like, oh, we'll catch up for a hike soon. If he had told me this serious shit was going on, that's different priorities. For people I love, I would have dropped everything and just gone and hung out with him through all of this shit. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to see how this grief integrates into my life as it always does.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will miss you, Scott, greatly.
I will miss you too, Scott, so much. I know you in more of my like childlike form, and my heart hurts as well. I think I'm also dealing with the not staying up with the people in your life.
Yeah.
I isolate a lot, and there's so many rich like fruits on the branches of your life, like so many wonderful things. And I think I stay down in my root system a lot.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, that's just like my comfortability. I like just being, almost underwater in depth. But it doesn't need to be that way. You can, I don't know, I can just be more present with people who have contributed to my life, and like,
yeah, dude,
you just gotta, yeah.
Dude, yeah. That I've been in a process that's been deep underwater, and there's so many beautiful things up and around in the
In the sunlight.
In the sunlight, yeah, in the light of my life. And yeah, like this is a real loss in that and a lesson in that or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we did this really cool book club too. Like that's
No way.
yeah, in 2024, like that's the thing when
Oh my gosh.
when Scott reached out about the walk, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm in. And like we did that shit. And then in 2024, he reached out like, hey, I'd kind of like to put it together like a group a book club, like we'll do it over Zoom, like you know, philosophy, like men's work stuff. And I was like, fuck yeah. And like got a bunch of my friends involved. Theo, Daniel was invited, but he was too busy. And yeah, we did this book club. We read a lot of the Stoic writing, Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, and discussed it as a group. And we did a few other books. And like, I'm so glad we did that as well. I'm like glad we had these like deep, meaningful times.
I remember my one biggest memory is Scott over your shoulder while you were at your desk. You guys were doing the Odyssey.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like you read the entire Odyssey or something, and it took you like, I don't know, a couple weeks, and then a few weeks. I don't know how long, but yeah, you two were like grand poets back then too.
Yeah, I
going
mean,
over the works.
Yeah, we just like connected on kind of like, what does it mean to live this life? What does it mean to be a man in this life? Like, what does it mean? What are these great works? What is philosophy? Like, how do I integrate it? How do I be these things? How do I develop values? Like all these things. So yeah, I am so grateful. Like I am a better person for having had him in my life. And like, that's true for anyone who got to spend time with him, big or small. That is such a fucking rare impact. That is such a rare impact. Like, fuck. And I wish I really got to talk to him about that while he was present. 'Cause it's meaningful and it was chosen by him. It was intentional. He wanted to do good in this life. He wanted to have values. Like he wanted to leave the world better than he found it. And he did. And he fucking did. So yeah. Yeah, I will carry his spirit fucking with me in this life, man.
I love you so much, Scott.
Yeah, for real. For real. So yeah. It's time for grieving. We can't do fan messages, guys, because I'm on my phone because my laptop's broken, and Lindsay can't get into the fucking Instagram because she got rejected.
It's two-factor authentication. We all have a thing. I don't know.
But
go on.
It works because we did hear one message we knew we were going to play, which was someone asking if we had any tips for grief. So to the person who submitted that, fuck, what tips do I have for grief as I'm currently fucking experiencing it? Here's kind of how I see grief. Is when something happens that you need to grieve, my experience is it's basically like this meter fills up of feeling. And and you can ignore it, but it will still be there until you feel through all of it and integrate it. So basically, when something happens in your life that you need to grieve, whether you like it or not, whether you want to fucking intellectualize it or mental gymnastic it, it does not matter. That meter has filled up and it's full of complicated feelings. And we can't feel it all at once. We physically cannot hold all that feeling. So it's gonna come through in time. You're gonna have to feel it in chunks. It's why some things with Rust, I've had to grieve 3 years after the fact because I couldn't feel all this right when it's happening. So with a little space, then you can look back and be like, oh, there's some more feels around it. There's some more confusion around it. There's some more anger around it. There's some more sorrow around it. And so basically we don't get to choose how full that meter gets, and we don't get to choose, when we're through it, all we can do is, as best we can in the chunks we can, give ourselves the space and the courage to feel it. And eventually enough time will pass that maybe it'll only come up a little bit here and there. You'll have a little like cry or whatever. But one thing I can tell you is, if you avoid feeling your grief, if you try and fucking intellectualize your grief, if you try and compartmentalize your grief, if you try and pretend that you're fine, it will come out in weird and inappropriate ways. Someone will say something to you and you will fucking snap on them and rage on them. And it's not even about that. It's because you haven't processed that like your fucking grandma died. It's because you haven't let out the anger and confusion that this person passed and you didn't want that to happen. The other thing about grief that I'm realizing is there's an adult me right now that can understand that people pass away and that cancer happens and that, you know, I'll go forward. I've grieved before. Life goes on. But there is a teenager in me. There's a kid in me that like doesn't understand, man. And like, I have to be with that kid inside of me. I have to let him feel. I have to tell him, yeah, but I know, and it's going to be okay. So as we get older, I think we have to parent ourselves through the grief. And that's a really weird process. 'Cause like the kid in me was so safe with Scott and was so supported by Scott and was so guided by Scott and was encouraged by Scott. And yeah, the kid in me is like really, really hurt and confused and angry that this is happening. And I just gotta let him feel that, you know? Yeah. And yeah, so that's grief, man, and it's gonna show up again and again and again, and the better you can get at softening into it, deepening into it, integrating it, feeling it, not resisting it, just the smoother it will be, because we don't get to skip it. And like, I just got through Rust and then this happened. And some part of me wants to like flip the Monopoly board about that, but that's the adult in me that's coming through, is going, wow, dude, like we're kind of at that age where that's going to keep happening moving forward. Like we're going to keep losing people moving forward. So I don't know, dude, lean on people, figure it out, like feel it, figure it out. 'Cause accept that this is the impossible mystery of our lives. Like
Right?
that this is going to happen again and a fucking again, man.
Well said,
Yeah.
Dev.
Yeah. That's my rant on grief.
I think just a small, very simple thing that I will add to that is like, your favorite, I don't know, movies that make you cry or shows that make you cry or music that can kind of tap into a little bit of that well without so much effort on our parts, right? When I've been able to tap into media that inspires me or things that like I'm right on the verge of tears, unable to do it, and then a storyline will hit me and it's just overcome, and that release is so nice, whether it's like a song or you know, whatever. TV for me is what it is. And just that permission from your body to kind of, it just overrides your mind, you know?
Dude, yes.
And it just in it, that has helped me so much since I've gotten sober, whether it be a book or, you know, it started out with books, then it moved on to TV, then now I'm getting a little bit more into music and like what I like about that. But it's like a little biohack.
Dude, that's so good. Body. That's so true. It's so true. It's not trivial. Like if a show can move you to tears, if a movie can move you to tears, those tears in you are coming from somewhere in your life. So like, regardless, that's it. That's the meter. Like, even if you'll give yourself more permission to cry for the story than maybe your own, and that's still tapping into that grief meter. Oh, that's so good, Linz. Yeah, that's really fucking good. I remember seeing this episode of Succession, which is like one of my favorite shows in the world, where they are very actively dealing with a death and grief on the day, and it's out of the blue and they weren't expecting it. It was so visceral watching it because it reminded me of the day on set at Rust where everything happened. The way those actors, the way it was written and the way the actors portrayed the confusion and the chaos of what happens as you're dealing with something in real time, and just how messy and fucked it is, was so authentic. It like took me back to that day and kind of allowed me to like feel and deal with some of that. So yeah, that's a good one. Wow. So yeah, dude, to anyone out there dealing with it, man, I'm with you. I feel you. Feel your feels, and also know that this is the weird mystery of life, is that this is life. Like, this is not separate from life. This is inherent. And wow, how can we have so much joy and goodness and connection, and also so much loss and confusion? That's what we each have to integrate within our own fucking awareness, man. So,
and I do feel bad that we don't have the name of that darling person. We'll name him next pod who sent in that question.
Yeah.
We'll play the full thing. But...
yeah, when we hack the fucking mainframe to get into our own Instagram, Google, fucking relax, dude.
Jeez, all right.
Factor authentication, fucking relax.
Literally, it made me send in like a selfie video, which I think got rejected. I said...
well, I love when they're like, yeah, your password isn't good enough.
Say what?
Said it. Yeah.
So annoying.
Anyway,
Dan missed a heck of an episode. Yeah. Don't worry, he really could have used this to help with his grief.
Honestly, but... I think Dan unconsciously tapped out of this one. Dan, that meter of grief, Dan goes, I'm gonna skirt right around that.
Yep.
He goes right around that. Mm-mm.
That's right. We're going into deep subject matter. I think not. Mm-mm.
Yeah. No. So he purposefully sabotaged the internet today. I love you, Linz. I'm
love you so
glad
much.
We have so much shared history. I'm glad we both got to share that schoolroom with Scott Plimpton. That was a fucking
never forget.
Just a blessing of a time having that man as a fucking teacher and spending all that good time. So fun too. So fun to fuck with him. Even as kids.
It was so the best. And then I pushed it too far by taking your pants down, and he got real stern. But then he didn't even fucking yell at me, dude. He didn't even yell. He said, go back to your room for the day. And I just looked like I knew he was serious, so I just was like, I couldn't believe it. This gentle giant was really giving me a serious order, and I was like,
you tested the bounds.
This is fucking embarrassing.
You tested the bounds and you found them.
Yeah, but he never made me feel any shame or judgment about it. He goes, here's the consequence of what's going to happen.
I know, he was so fair. He was so fucking fair.
This is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
I love you so much, my heart. We will be back next week with Kooky.
Yeah,
Big Dan the Man.
We will have Kooky back with some technology. Hopefully my laptop will be fixed.
Yes.
Hey, fans out there, whatever you're going through in this life, we love you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting and engaging with us. We're still keeping this podcast going by a thread. We're hanging on by a goddamn thread. Technology's testing us. Our own minds are testing us, but we're still here. Thanks to Sean Flynn and Jack for coming on the episode last week. That was really nice catching up with them. Like, really, really nice. And I look forward to our next guests.
Yeah.
Guys, we will see you online, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.